So what is going on with Palantir? What's going on, guys? It's Ricky. I hope that you guys are all having, I think I'm going to upload this tomorrow morning. Hope that you're having an amazing start to your Saturday morning. I'm actually filming this on October 3rd, so this is a Friday. But I quickly wanted to answer a little bit more of an in-depth question that a lot of people were asking me. In today's earlier video, I talked about Palantir. Palantir shared some news today. I'm sure a lot of you guys have seen it. Why Palantir Technologies shares are sliding today. At one point, Palantir stock was down a little bit over 7%. I think by the time that the market actually closed, this thing ended, it ended 7.4% in the red. Consistent lower highs and lower lows. There was definitely more of an active selling pressure on Palantir than there was for like the NASDAQ market. Now, don't get me wrong, the NASDAQ market saw a really nice retracement. Literally from when I uploaded my video today on YouTube, right? NASDAQ was trying to recover. It was the perfect setup. It was the perfect lower high, lower low. I talked about my short on Irene. I think I was up like $4,000, 3,500, right? During today's earlier video. And then I ended the day actually at 8,000. I took another trade and then I ended the day at 7,000. And then I took a really small trade on Palantir, closed that one out, $890 in the green. Let me make this very clear. I have no open short on Palantir. I've made it very clear that, again, markets are incredibly bullish. Carrying a short overnight is inherently risky, and especially during a bullish market, it makes no sense. I don't care how irrational or how overvalued, right? You guys, if you're familiar with my videos, you know that I love calling out these stocks that are overvalued. I'm not just talking about Palantir. I'm talking about Irene, I'm talking about Oklo, I'm talking about TM. The list goes on. I think all of these are inherently overvalued, overbought, piece of crap companies that are only trading at these insane valuations because markets are incredibly irrational. Market conditions support irrational valuations. But as soon as markets begin to retrace, like we saw today, it's always those stocks that see the hardest retracement. And today, right, when you look at the bigger picture, that's nothing, right? That's the selling pressure that we saw today, right? I have every reason to want the market to pull back. I'm not here to make it more than what it is. It's just a little pullback. It's a pullback right now to the EMA line. We'll see. The longer that our government prolongs a government shutdown, the more that markets are bound to fall. Normally because of the uncertainty. It's not that shutdowns are terrible for our economy. It's just there's uncertainty. Markets sell off. Once the government reopens, it picks right back up. Traditionally speaking, I've shared the data before, markets always recover from these government shutdowns, long-term after 12 months. Again, incredibly bullish over a long period of time. Yes, I get that. This is just a pullback. The thing that I really want to focus on is asking the question about Palantir. Such a significant pullback today. Well, why? What exactly was shared? Very simple. Palantir Technologies fell today because after the U.S. Army warned of very high risk and fundamental security problems in a new battlefield communication network being developed by companies including Palantir. It wasn't just them, but they're one of the bigger ones that's publicly traded. And an internal Army memo stated that it could not control user access or verify the software security on the new platform. Now, you're seeing a lot of people online either debunk this or say that, no, it's not even that important. It doesn't really matter because Palantir is trading at such an insane valuation that it can't even have a bad rep to validate and really carry that insane valuation with any negative news. It needs to be a clean slate, right? The only way that Palantir can sustain a PE ratio, and that's what I wanted to come on here and talk about. The question that I got asked today is Palantir a good investment? Now, it's up to you. Everyone has different risk tolerance. Let me explain to you my opinion. Do I think that Palantir is a good deal? Of course not. Palantir is an incredibly overvalued stock based off of what it produces as a company in net income versus what it's valued at. Its PE ratio is over 400. It's over 557 times its earnings, even after the 7.5 retracement that we saw today. Think about that. It nearly lost 1/10 of its value just today. But this happens always with the most overvalued stocks. It needs to have a clean slate, no negative news, no negative catalyst that drives the price down. And the reason it's able to validate that, and we talked about this earlier, right, is that when you click on the Pro Research under investing.com, this pops up. And this is where, again, I talked about it in today's earlier video. Its revenue is very impressive in the way that it's been growing quarter after quarter. I'm not here to hype up this stock. I truly do believe this stock is incredibly overvalued. No question about it. Long term, I can see a 50% retracement minimum on Palantir. But 2025 is not the story about fundamental value. It just doesn't care about that. Look at Irene, look at Oklo, some of the top performing stocks of 2025. They're fundamentally terrible companies. It's if you have a good AI story and you have good price momentum, enough people hyping you up, you can do very well. Especially for Palantir, it's not the worst. Palantir it's actually been not just talking the talk, but it's been walking the walk. It has very impressive revenue growth quarter after quarter. But again, like we saw today, anytime anything like this happens, where it's just a little simmer of like negative news, although it might not be that bad, again, it's in such a high and insane valuation, it can't have any negative press, because as soon as there's any uncertainty, because that's all this is, strong retracement. Because that's what it is, 7.5 to almost 10% sell-off. That is a strong sell-off for most investors. Don't get me wrong, Palantir can easily get it bought up, right? Palantir is one of Wall Street's favorite stock of 2025. It's one of the top 15 best performing stocks of 2025. So do I think it's a safe investment? Of course not. Do I think that you can make money by investing into Palantir or trading Palantir? Yeah, I think that you need to understand what Palantir is. And in my opinion, it's a momentum-based AI stock that has a really good story and has pretty impressive growth story as well based off of revenue. And as long as markets can support irrational valuations, and as long as markets continue to uptick and continue to sell their story that, yeah, everything's going great, because we all know our economy is not doing great, but as long as the stock market continues to pretend that everything is doing fine, yes, Palantir, I believe, can continue to not only recover, but maybe push up to $200. But at what cost, right? That is the difference. This is what I'm saying. Depends on how you're wired and what your experience level is. There's some people that understand what a break-if pattern is. There's some people that understand how to manage and mitigate risk, and they can understand when market sentiment begins to change. Palantir is incredibly bullish right now, but as soon as markets and if markets begin to shift, Palantir has huge retracement potential, over 50%. So yeah, it might look like a fair idea to buy Palantir at 172 to possibly sell at 190. I mean, the return there is pretty impressive, right? If I pull it up for you guys right here, from overall lows to overall highs, yeah, it's about a 10% retracement. But remember, a lot of pullback potential, over 50%. But that's if, which it has not presented itself, if the market sentiment changes and markets turn bearish, which there is no trigger. Every single time there needs to be a trigger. Again, I want markets to sell off. I want these stocks to sell off 50%, not just because I care to short them, but because maybe I want to buy them long term, right? But there's no reason for me to oversell it, right? I want to short them, but I want to short them when they make sense, right? The trend is your friend, something everyone simply talks about. The trend is bullish right now. So if you short, or at least go for a short as a swing trade, I don't think it's a very safe play right now. I still think it makes more sense to go long than it does to go short long term. When it comes down to the 4-hour time frame, there's intraday setups, just like we saw today, when selling pressure really kicks in, that you can make a pretty nice buck shorting, right? Get in, get out, make that money and bounce. But you have to have the experience and you have to know how to trade. And that's not something that we would ever encourage for a beginner, right? Just like we did with Irene today. When this thing pumped and then it dumped, again, we did a really good job right at market open in today's live trading session, shorting this, and then also shorting this into the downside. Again, leading to a pretty nice return, $7,000 within just a few hours of actively trading this stock. But again, is Palantir a safe investment long term? I don't think so. I think it's overvalued, but I think that if you can play this with the sentiment, as long as the trend remains bullish, great. You have the market condition and environment to continue to support to go long. But as soon as that sentiment changes, I think the risk is incredibly high for Palantir because of how much retracement potential there is long-term on this stock. Just because there's downside risk doesn't mean that you just need to blindly short. Because remember, markets can stay irrational longer than we can stay solvent to try to short something, which is, again, the whole reason that I close out my shorts daily, because I know that markets can continue to recover. And instead of forcing something or being greedy, I just get in, get out, make my money, and I bounce and I close it out. I respect the trend. I'm not afraid to short, but I respect the trend. I understand that bulls have the environment and the conditions to go long. They're right now the ones that can be greedy more often than not. For short sellers, just make your money and don't overcomplicate it, right? We'll have our time, just like we saw in 2022, right? When markets aggressively sold off, like Palantir also did too, from overall highs of $26 to lows of $5. Lost, I don't know if you guys remember. Again, it's always the most overvalued stocks that lose the most of their value. 75% of its value was lost. If you look at the NASDAQ market, it was all of it. If you look at the NASDAQ market during that time, from overall highs to overall lows, it sold off for 12 months, 34% retracement. Again, if you've been part of my LPP team, we talked about it back then. We traded it live every single morning, and we really enjoyed the market selling up. Eventually, market found its support. It began to show signs of higher highs and higher lows and began to recover. Overall, long-term, markets are more bullish than they are bearish. But again, like a rubber band, the further you stretch it apart, just like we're seeing right now, the further that the market becomes overbought. Eventually, when there's a trigger, markets snap, we see huge retracements, and then everyone begins to complain, oh my God, why is everything selling? Well, again, it never belonged up at those levels. So it retracing or correcting itself 50%, it's more bringing itself back to its true value. A lot of these, are piece of crap overvalued companies, but under irrational market conditions, those valuations are supported for a short period of time. So again, go with the trend, but I hope that you don't over leverage yourself, that if market direction turns against you, you end up getting margin called. Leverage seems like a great thing until it turns against you. So just be mindful of that. You shouldn't be afraid to take advantage of opportunities, but you shouldn't be so over leveraged that when markets pull back, you're getting margin called. You should always have cash on the sidelines to be able to buy up those dips. And if you don't, maybe it's something to consider. So again, I want to talk a little bit more about this, in this upcoming week. If you're ready to watch me trade live, you don't have to, but I do trade live every single morning with my LPP team. They also get access to our A to Z video lesson library that's designed for complete beginners. So if you want to join, we have a little discount code there for you. Second link in the description down below. Whenever you're ready, we'll see you there at market open for our live session. Hope that earned a thumbs up. Please consider subscribing. And like always, let's make sure that we end the year on a green note. Take care, team.